Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah.
Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. I can make it round the world with the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world.
Now it's time for Believe in the ACC with our starting lineup. From Florida State, number 17, Charlie Ward. From Morehead State University, number 50, Lloyd Spen. And from Murray State University, number 2, Kendrick Haskett. Get ready for the best sports show about the ACC in all the land. Believe in the ACC starts now.
Love that open.
Oh man, I do. I love the whistle. The whistle's catchy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the band one more time.
Yes, the in-house band of ours.
In-house band of ours. You know, doing their thing. This looks oddly familiar, like we've done it before. Anyway, today's show is Believe in the ACC. It's Believe in the ACC. Usually Charlie Ward would be joining us. He is traveling today. But you still got Kendrick Haskins. You still got Lloyd Spence. We're still here. We're still going to have a good time. You're going to have a good time. If you are in the Kentucky, Tennessee, or Arkansas area, you have gone through a tremendous storm situation. So hopefully you and your family are safe today and doing well. It's still raining here. I don't know what it's doing in Kentucky, but it's
still raining here too.
Yeah, so this is a nice way to start the day. You know what I'm saying? It's raining. You can't do nothing anyway. You might as well just enjoy your work or enjoy being at home or wherever you are today. Just sit back and relax and enjoy this show. So, Believe the ACC. We're here. We're going to get you caught up on all ACC news or as much as we want to talk about. And then we may talk about something else. That's what we do here. We have fun. We have a good time. It's a podcast. Sit back and enjoy it. So, the first thing that we want to talk about is probably the biggest story in the ACC. And here's the irony of it. It's amazing that women's sports has now gotten to the place where they can dominate the headlines. It is very, very true that right now the fallout from Olivia Miles deciding that she's going to transfer from Notre Dame is that and Duke being in the Final Four are the two biggest stories going on in the ACC. So let's start with the transfer, which seemingly kind of, if you listen to Olivia, apparently she's a pretty honest person because she's been kind of hinting that there was a possibility. If you listen to some of her interviews, she said, I don't know. I may wake up and decide I'm coming back. And everybody's like, nah, you're going to be like the number 2 pick in the WNBA draft. But here's the reality that everyone is now faced to understand with this decision. And this is harsh, but it's true. For a woman in women's basketball, going to the WNBA is a pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pay cut now. Angel Reese, pay cut. Caitlin Clark, pay cut. Paige Beckers will be a pay cut. Flage Johnson, if she decides, now she has not officially decided one way or the other, but whenever she decides, she knows it's a pay cut. Now, the endorsements will offset some of that.
Yes.
But here's the other side of that. In order to get the endorsement number that you need, probably more advantageous to stay as long as you can in college to get your profile up, or as we like to say in the business, your Q score. So I think you're about to see a new normal until the WNBA can get their base numbers up, and they're about to go into a collective bargain agreement. I think this year. I think this summer.
Yeah.
Or this fall, rather, whenever.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
This year, sometime this year.
Right. So until they can get that number up, this is going to be the new normal. You're going to see more and more young ladies. Lauren Betts already decided, I'm coming back. Doesn't matter if I win a championship or not. I'm coming back. Now, part of that's because her sister's coming. But still, that's a pay cut. It's a massive pay cut for her at UCLA.
Her sister's a supremely talented young lady, too. That girl can hoop.
Listen. Keep your eyes on UCLA.
Yeah. Yeah, she can hoop.
But your thoughts on Olivia Miles coming or transferring, and a prediction as to where you think she might go.
Well, my prediction where she might go is somewhere in the SEC or the Big Ten, because that's where most of the money is.
Where the money is, yeah.
And then it's just a bad predicament for the WNBA, because as much as their popularity has grown, the business is still losing money. They still lost $40 million last year. So if you're not turning a profit, how are you going to increase the wages? I don't know how you do that. So, and really, it comes down to asking the NBA for even more money, because that's the only way you're going to get it, because you're not generating money. And so it's just all business at this point. And, do they deserve more money? Yeah, but where's the money supposed to come from? It's not just going to.
By the way, before you finish, did everything right last year. There's nothing they did wrong. They featured their stars, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They featured the Las Vegas Aces, who were the best team, or the most popular team. The New York Market team, who ended up winning the championship. They were on a lot. I can't think of one thing from a presentation perspective that they did wrong, and still lost $40 million.
Right. I mean, it's just a slow process. It's a slow build. I mean, at the end of the day, the league is only 30-something years old, so that's still relatively young. I know people don't really. You hear 30 years old these days, and you think it's old, but it's really not. I mean, the NBA itself was past 30 years when they finally hit their stride with Magic and Bird. I mean, it was a struggling league too, and so it's going to take time. And I know people don't really believe in time these days and being patient, but it's going to take time. And until basically these young women in the WNBA now, they're still paving the way for another generation, and to be honest, and probably another generation before they getting, probably what they deserve. But I mean, that's just the way it is until the league starts making money. There's not really much negotiating that can really go on. They need to expand, and they are slowly but surely. But I mean, until they expand and start making more money, then it kind of is what it is.
If you were comparing the leagues, the WNBA to the NBA, the WNBA is now at the Magic Bird stage of its growth. If you understand what I'm saying. So Reese is arguably that Magic character, Caitlin being the Bird character. And I hate to make it white and black, but that's probably
that's what it is.
Right. So they have not found their Jordan yet. That could be Juju. It's possible.
Mhm.
It could be Paige Beckers.
Paige
possible.
Beckers.
Right. But they need their Jordan. They're missing their Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get their Jordan, then maybe the league can then take off, like, and those salaries can increase and whatever. But they're in a good place. They're in a very, very good place. Now,
And to get perspective on timing real quick,
yeah,
the NBA got this Jordan 6 years after they first got Bird Magic. So again,
right.
you're gonna have to be patient. And that's Jordan's rookie season. He didn't really, and he broke his foot, so he didn't really take off to the next season. And so, if the timelines are similar, they still got another 6 or 7 years before they get there.
And to you continue in this analogy, they need Bird and Magic to play. So if you look at the Indiana Fever, they've gotten, if you look at the roster, it's gotten tremendously better. So they should be very competitive this year. Now, the Chicago Sky, I don't know. Honestly don't know, because they fired their coach. They made they have a good team, but they did fire their coach, and we don't know what they're going to look like. But it would behoove, I love behoove, I don't know why I love that word, but it would behoove them to get the Chicago Sky, either to get the Chicago Sky in a good place, or to get Angel Reese on a more competitive team so that they can make that transition and get them into a final somehow together.
I think part of it too, and I'm just gonna be honest. Angel's Q rating's not very good. She doesn't help herself, and she needs to get better. I mean,
well, she's been working out with Lisa Leslie. She's been working out with Lisa Leslie, and hopefully that will translate.
Because the shots, I mean, the layups she missed are bad.
Right.
Like, you're too good of a player to be this bad of a finisher around the rim.
Absolutely.
So her product itself has got to get better. And plus, like I saying, she's like she says some things sometimes, and I know she's young, and it's just like, hold on, sis.
Well,
let's reel that in a little bit.
That doesn't bother me as much as the play. The play bothers me more.
I'm saying with
the play bothers me more. Like, if you're gonna be Magic, you got to be Magic. You gotta take your game to the next level. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. She's working hard. I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah, because
working hard.
Because the way it is now, when Juju finally does come to the league, which probably still gonna at this point, it's probably going to be another 3 years.
Right.
She's most likely going to surpass Angel as soon as she steps 100%. Foot into the league. And so
100%.
Angel's got to improve her game.
And Juju could theoretically be the Jordan that the league needs.
Yeah.
She can ball. So we'll see. But Olivia Miles transferring is a massive, massive thing. She was going to be in all, if you look at all the pre-draft stuff before she made the announcement, it was Paige Beckers and Olivia Miles. They were the 1 and 2 of the draft, and I didn't see anything that was any different. And so now a lot of players are going to benefit because we don't know who the number 2 is going to be. Like I don't know. Honestly, I can't think of who it would be at this point. So I'm curious to know. You said SEC, Big Ten. No possible way she ends up on an ACC team?
It's possible. Somebody cut the check. I'm just saying.
Well, the check will be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, and so it depends on the NIL situations. It feels like in the ACC, Notre Dame probably has the most money.
You would think.
I maybe NC State, because they seem to have taken a real investment into women's college basketball. She'd be basketball wise and style wise, she'd be a great fit at Louisville. I just don't know if they have the NIL money to pull it off. Right. And then outside of that,
Florida State now has a gaping hole because Tanaya
left. But
is in the transfer portal.
if they couldn't afford tonight, they ain't gonna be able to afford her.
I think Tanaya. I'd be stunned if Tanaya doesn't end up at either LSU or she might end up. I just for some reason I just keep thinking she might end up in Texas because her and Madison Booker would be. That'd be unstoppable.
And with her, I wouldn't totally rule her out for Louisville because Jeff's taken Florida State players in the past.
Right.
He's gotten like 3.
Tonight would be a monster get. That would be a monster get, and to put her experience around that young team would be huge. It would be a huge get.
It still all depends on.
Out to that.
It depends on all who stays. Because we know Zella Arenas is leaving. Jada's situation was weird. I still don't 100% understand it. Hopefully, I get to talk to her in the next couple of days so I can understand it better. But
does she have a year? She has a year left.
See, that's the confusing part. So I'd always thought that this year was it.
I thought so too.
And when talking to her, it was like this year was it. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the season, started hearing rumblings that she might have an extra year and she might come back. Well, I saw Jada like once since then, and that was at their Selection Sunday thing, so I didn't really get a chance to talk to her. And then she gave chit chat, hey, that type of deal. But and I've texted her. I texted her after that TCU game, and just congratulations, and text back thank you. So, but like we haven't really had a chance to talk, and so I was under the assumption she was done. Well, then last night she declares for the WNBA draft on Instagram.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And sends its thank you letter and all this stuff, which was fine. But I'm like, it sounded like she had an option, which I texted with the yes ID with the U of L women's team, and he was like, "Nah, she was her eligibility was up." And I was like, "So I don't know." Yeah, okay. Either way, Jada's gonna be in the WNBA draft.
Gotcha. And we wish her well. We're big Jada fans here, so. But yeah, so that gets us back to if Tanaya is available, that would be I would have to believe Jeff has her on his radar. And that would be a massive get.
Yes.
And there's a lot of steals out there within the transfer portal. The transfer portal is once again packed, as it always is. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think you're going to see more and more top-tier players in the WNBA, especially on the women's side, say, you know what? I'm coming back. It's going to happen.
And really and truly, it's just going to be increasingly beneficial for the NCAA women's
100%.
basketball, because that's the main argument with college with the men's side is that the guys that are any good are only going to be there for a year, maybe 2. But now the players, the women are going to stick around. You're going to get to know these players, which is going to set up more rivalries, more marquee matchups, because who's not going to look forward to USC Notre Dame showdown at some point, with Hidalgo and Juju when Juju comes back, and right. Every time UCLA and USC meet, who 2 years ago who cared about that game?
No one cared about that game.
now it's going to be a marquee. It's going to be a marquee matchup at 10:30 at night Eastern time.
Question to you about that, because you just brought up something interesting. Now that you have these marquee matchups like this because players are coming back, could this finally spark the NBA to change their rule because they see the benefit of what it does for the WNBA? Because they say, you know what, one more year won't kill them because it helps us marketing wise.
No, because the players got to agree to it. I don't think the players are going to agree to it.
They might because delaying some rookie coming in, taking a roster spot, is beneficial to those who already are in NBA. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but then it'd be hypocritical for a lot
It
of
would
those
be.
guys too. I
It
don't,
would be.
and and it's not as many veterans in the NBA anymore. So
Yeah. Interesting. It's an interesting place in time as we go forward with where we are in the, the, the structure of organized sports, as my uncle would say all the time. This is just organized sports, Lloyd.
mhm.
So I'm curious to see where WNBA goes from here, but it's trending in the right direction. Anybody who thinks it's not is not paying attention. It's trending in the right direction, which brings us to where we are today. All chalk
On both sides for the most
on
part.
both sides. All chalk. Kendrick, your thoughts of a Final Four, men and women's, that is all chalk. What are your thoughts?
Get ready for that to be the future with
Really?
NIL. Yeah, I mean that's going to be the norm. I think maybe not all number ones, but it's going to be all the higher seeds or lower seeds or whatever the vernacular is for that.
Yeah, however you decide to categorize that, yeah.
But yeah, because with the NIL money, what's going to happen is what you're seeing happening in the transfer portal, where these kids are going to the mid majors for a year, and then they go get the bag from the P4 schools,
Yeah.
and so yes, that's what you. So the P4, so you're not going to have those veteran mid major teams anymore because all of those players are going to the bigger schools after a year or two. I mean, just like looking at Louisville now, like Pat Kelsey's gotten two big commitments through the transfer portal. One's a freshman from Kennesaw State, and the other one's going to be a senior from Xavier.
Yeah.
And so that's that's going to be the norm. Even though Xavier's not a mid major anymore, they're in the Big East, but still, that's that's going to be the norm. And so you're not going to see those wily veteran 22-year-old mid major players because those 22-year-old mid major players are going to be playing in the what's going to happen. What the saving grace will be that like some of these mid majors will be better, will have better freshmen than they're used to having
100%. Yeah.
because the big teams are going to go after the older players, but after their freshman year, they're most likely going to be going. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
And to your point, I have a friend whose daughter is going through this process right now, and they are absolutely experiencing that. Talented young lady, led a team to a state championship, several runs at the state championship over the course of her career, and couldn't get a D1 look because coaches are flatly saying, "I'm recruiting out of the portal."
I mean, Rick Pitino straight up came out and said that.
And by the way, we said that before it even started because I said the logic is easy on this one. If I am a coach trying to save my job year in and year out, I am not trying to recruit some wild-eyed five-star unless this five-star freshman is a Cooper Flag or is Anthony Davis or someone that is transcendently good. No, we're going to the portal.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to the portal, and that's going to be the norm. That's it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You're going to see the mid majors are going to have the young kids now, and the P4, P5, they're going to have the veteran teams now.
Could we ever see a day? Could we ever see a day where the NCAA puts a rule in place and says there is a transfer portal cap?
There needs to be. I don't know if there will be.
You can only do 5 players, or you can only do whatever. Yeah.
I don't think that. I'm thinking there needs to be a cap on how many times these kids can transfer.
Oh,
I think it needs to be. I don't know because I'm fine if you. My thing is it used to be if you transferred you lost a year of eligibility.
Right.
And then that rule just magically disappeared.
Right.
And so I just think it would be more beneficial for the NCAA and for everyone involved, it's like, okay, if a coach leaves, free game. You should be able to get one transfer off the top. Coach leaves, you can go. After that, those two situations, if you go, you can go, but you're going to lose a year of eligibility.
So I don't know if it bothers me as much as it bothers others. How many times a kid will transfer? It's dumb in my opinion to transfer as much because I don't think you're helping yourself as much as you think you are. There are rare cases where you do help yourself, i.e. Cam Ward, but for the most part, most of the kids who are doing these multiple transfers are making their situations harder because they're not building any consistency and they're not, you're learning so many different systems that nobody can really understand who you are. So it's
right, especially when you think about quarterbacks.
Right, exactly. Like DJ Uiagalelei benefited in no way.
You just wanted to say his name.
No, I didn't. Honestly, no. It had nothing to do with it because reality is, if you look at his journey, he's not even being considered. I don't even know if people know that he's eligible to be drafted. Forget where he'll be taken in the draft. He won't be taken in the draft. He will be UDFI, and even then, he may not get an invitation. So all the transferring that he did benefited him in no way possible. It didn't help him at all. So that's the other side of the transfer portal that is not being talked about enough. And so I don't know. Pastor Corey says, say his name 3 times fast. I don't know if I can do that, Pastor.
I don't think DJ can do it 3 times fast.
I'm not sure DJ can do it 3. Yeah. But it's I just don't think it's a way to for him to benefit from. I don't think you benefit from multiple transfers or 3 transfers. Like that kid's got 3 transfers, and it's not.
But then there's others that it does work out for. Because Tyler Shuck, he went to what, 3? He went to 3. He may have even been 4.
Right.
That's 3 schools for sure. Cam Ward.
Right.
Cam Ward was at 3 different schools. And so it at the end of the day, it does come back to the player.
Goes back to the player.
And so you gotta make the best out of your situation. I mean, look at Haley Van Lith. Haley Van Lith is on her 3rd team, and she's increased her draft stock incredibly over her tournament.
I think she has finally made herself draftable. Now, will she be first round? Maybe now, because you know what? That's one of the people that will benefit from the Olivia Miles departure or her decision, because everyone that you think may be better than Haley Van Lith will now move up, which probably creates a space for Haley Van Lith. Maybe late first round, maybe early second, maybe.
I think Haley's gonna. I think she's gonna be at least mid first round.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Her size is the one that makes me go.
She's not that small.
Small enough.
She's taller than Hannah Hidalgo.
Yeah, but she don't shoot like Hannah Hidalgo.
Shooting wise, she might. And scoring wise, no.
Good. Right.
But she shoots every bit as good as Hannah Hidalgo.
Well, she would have to show that. She's going to have to show that in a pre-draft camp or
what she did was show her point guard skills more at TCU, and she set career highs. She had set career highs in assists. Well, I don't know if she'll admit it or not. Her first mistake was leaving Louisville, because
and that's why
I'm not even necessarily leaving Louisville, but going to LSU with a loaded roster where she was not going to be used the way she wanted to be used.
Yeah,
but like what she left Louisville for, she would have gotten that. Because you look at that team that Louisville had last year, Haley by far would have been the point guard. And so that it was a mistake leaving Louisville, but she redeemed herself in her year at TCU, and I do think she'll be at least a mid-level pick in the WNBA draft. I also got to figure you also got to factor in the marketing part. She's super marketable.
For marketing, she's I just look at her skill and go, okay, where does she fit and with who? It's got to be the right situation, and she's not a starter. She's not a day one starter on any team in the WNBA right now.
I'm not gonna say that. I mean,
Okay,
she's be a starter on one of the bad teams.
Keep in mind, I watch I watch a lot of.
I mean, she's not gonna walk in and start for like New York or Vegas or anything. But you can't tell me she ain't start for Dallas or she can't start for Chicago.
She's not starting for Dallas. I absolutely can tell you she's not starting for Dallas. 100%. You think she's playing next to Agumawale?
She can play next to her, yes.
As the starting point guard?
Yes, she can.
No.
Yes, she can.
Not at all.
She can.
Not at all. I love you, but no. She's not starting. And it's no disrespect to her. It's just what she's got to do, because they just picked up Dejanay Carrington. She's not starting over Dejanay Carrington.
Well, she's not starting over Dejanay Carrington.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She's not starting.
I mean, you first threw a Agumawale out there. I'm like, yeah, she can start next to. Their games complement each other.
Their games do complement each other, but she's just not. They got a point guard. So I hold on, Jake.
What about Chicago?
Hold on, with Jake in a 3-3, and she didn't start there. Let's put it all in context. Yeah, she won an Olympic medal, but she didn't start on the 3-3 team. So she
started a couple of games. I mean, they rotated the starters though.
Okay, I'm just saying it's not.
Hey, if you put her in 3-on-3, she's won multiple medals in 3-on-3.
now in Unrivaled.
Yeah, Unrivaled, she's gonna be the MVP.
She'll be the MVP, 100%. She's got that experience. You said the Sky?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember who the point guard for the Sky is, because I don't remember. Kennedy Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Maybe, because Courtney Vandersloot is older, and she's coming to the end of her career, so it's possible.
And I will throw one. I said the Fever, her and Caitlin Clark could be a good backcourt together. I mean,
well, I'll say this. They definitely would be the most popular. But I would hate that, though. Can I just tell you, I would hate that, because that plays into every possible stereotype you can think of.
I mean,
who would she be replacing? She'd be replacing Jaylen Brown, I guess, or Lexi Hall. I don't think she could start over Kelsey Mitchell. I don't know.
They could go spot. They could go to a 3-guard offense. I mean, I think her and Caitlin Clark could definitely. I mean, in the trash talking between those two to the others, and there would be fights. But her game would translate with Caitlin Clark. I mean, and they grew up playing with each other.
I tell you what, they got a nice veteran mix now, with DeWanna Bonner, with Sydney Colson there now, Natasha Howard. They got a nice little veteran mix going. So this, I don't know. She'll find a roster spot. We do know that. Where, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think it's going to be late first, early second. I just don't see. I don't see how she's gonna. They may surprise. But I have also not looked at the pre-draft who's coming out either. So that may change my decision prior to, we'll have to see.
Yeah, let's see. Her size, she's decent size. She is a decent sized guard. She's kind of deceptive, like people think Steph is tiny and Steph's 6'4". Haley's about 5'9", so it's not like she's tiny for a guard in the WNBA, and so she'll be fine. She's gonna be totally fine. Now my girl Jada, now she's tiny, and so it's now for her draft stats, I do think she'll be late first round at best, but most likely second round.
Yeah.
Her thing
But she
is
can shoot though. That's the thing that plays.
she can shoot. She can shoot. The thing that used to drive Jeff crazy is like she's too unselfish. She needs to be more selfish, and so she does that.
Her role is going to dramatically change in the WNBA.
She's gonna be a shooter.
So, yeah, she's going to be coming off the bench and she's going to be told, let that thing go. And if she does that, she'll be fine. She'll be on the roster easy.
That was what she was told at U of L too.
Well, I agree. I agree.
And I say that, and as somebody who used to tell Jada myself over the summer, I was like, "Girl, you need to shoot more."
Right. You need to shoot.
And she did, and she was cooking. And I'm saving that for my shout outs at the end of the show. But yeah, she was cooking in that last tournament game.
She was. There were some coaching changes in the in the ACC. Virginia decided to go with Ryan Odom as their new men's head coach. He spent the last 2 seasons at VCU, and so now he is now the head coach of. Just moves down the street, and now he's the head coach of Virginia. And Will Wade, while on the basketball court with his team, was announced with McNeese State was announced as the head coach of NC State. Mm-hmm. He didn't even get a chance to celebrate the win in the tournament before they had announced that he was out of there.
Look at Jay Lucas. Still in the middle of the season.
I wish they wouldn't do that. I understand from a recruiting perspective why they do it, but boy, it is wildly uncomfortable. But
I have a slightly different opinion on how they did it or whatever, because at least because I don't mind them staying. I actually prefer them staying with their team if they took another job, because you leave them high and dry. Because I remember that bowl game when Cincinnati had that fantastic year. Yeah. And Kelly leaves. I think it's when he went to Notre Dame.
Right.
And they end up playing he leaves, doesn't coach the bowl game, and they go in there against Florida in the Sugar Bowl and get beat 100-0. Right. And so I don't mind as long as the players and like everybody involved is okay with it. I prefer to coach through the season.
No, that part 100% I agree. I was thinking about the announcement itself.
Like, yeah.
There's no rush.
There's not, but that's one of those things where it's gonna get out, so you may as well get out ahead of it. Well, it's like the Jay Lucas that was known he was going like 2 or 3 weeks before it was actually announced, but then it was already out there.
Well, NC State put that announcement out themselves. They was like, "Oh, by the way, we just hired your coach." Like, what?
Because you gotta get out in front of it.
Well, to that same point too, the McNeese players didn't look too shocked, so it sounded like they knew, and maybe some of them were headed to the transfer portal because they had to follow their coach over at NC State. So
you see, the trainer did.
He's probably already got his NIL deal in place.
He's got like 6 figures in NIL deals.
Cause didn't he make like $100,000 or something?
He's got like B-dubs. He's got like a shoe sponsor. I'm like, I ain't hating, more power to him, but I'm like, why? Why did all of a sudden this dude just come out of nowhere? And all he does is just hold the radio.
I was gonna say because he hangs a radio around his neck. I can do that. I can do a radio thing.
Every team does.
I'm just saying, I'm not.
I ain't hating. Go get your money, bro.
I ain't mad at him either. So that was on the coach's side. But back to the Final Four. On the women's side, we've got all chalk Texas, South Carolina, UConn, and oh my God, UCLA. UCLA. On the men's side, we've got Duke, We've got
Houston.
Houston, which is
Yeah.
going to be a phenomenal
Mhm.
game, and then Florida and Auburn on the other side. So, first of all, who do you think will win? Who do you have picked win? Who do you have picked to win, and who do you think will win?
I picked Houston. I actually put a future on Houston back in February. It's yeah,
Nice.
and so
They look good,
but
man.
they look really good, but
They look good.
Duke's looking better. Out of the
They do.
four,
They do. They
Duke
do.
has played the best out of the four. Out of the four that's remaining, Florida's played very well too. Auburn's come in. Auburn's playing. I mean, they're all playing well. I just feel like Duke is playing the best out of the four. I'll be glad when my man Malawak starts getting more attention because as great as Cooper Flag is, and I'm not taking anything from Cooper Flag. I've been a fan of Cooper Flag since he first popped on the scene last year. That team goes with Malawak.
Yes.
Because Cooper Flag's gonna do what he does, but Malawak, defensive, he's he's got to be one of the best defensive players left in the tournament.
Yeah.
He blocks shots. He's a constant lob threat. When they lost to Kentucky at the beginning of the season, it's because Malawak got hurt that game and didn't come back. And when Cooper Flag went out, Malawak pretty much, him and Proctor pretty much carried that team on their shoulders. And Malawak was a constant. He was an issue for Louisville when they played in the ACC championship game. And I think he's going to be. I think he could be the determining factor in them if messing up my future and knocking off Houston in the Final Four.
So from a team perspective, the crazy part to me is that the two best teams going into this weekend are Duke and Houston. Like, they've played far away, in my opinion, better than anybody has. Houston, the thing that, now here's the irony, because I said this a few weeks back, and now it's coming to bite me in the behind. I said I didn't think a singular player-led team could win a title. And I still don't know if that's true, except that Duke is not a singularly led team anymore.
They're covered that way, but they're not.
Right, they're not playing that way anymore. But all of a sudden, they look like a complete package.
And Proctor's been amazing in the tournament too.
He's been outstanding. He's outstanding. So they look the best. The irony is the best thing that ever happened to them was Cooper Flag going down in the ACC tournament because it raised everybody else's play level and thought process. Like, oh, we're a good team. It's almost like it was a revelation to them. We're actually a really good team. So now they're playing like a really good team. Prior to that, I would have said Houston could win this thing because they're the better team. Now, I picked Houston as well, but now I don't know. If Houston can ugly the game up, if they're allowed to ugly the game up, they have a more than.
That's how they have to win, and that's what scares me about it because I don't think they can score with Duke. Well, they can't.
They can't.
And so they're gonna have to really ugly this game up, and I mean Duke can play that way, and so.
Right, I'm not saying that's a path to a definite win. I'm saying
that's the way they're gonna have to do it.
Path to win, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. A lot of things got to go right for Houston to win this game, and somehow the other thing is they got to find a way to put pressure on Cooper Flag on the defensive side of the ball, because if they don't put him in some level of foul trouble, then and he's allowed to just roam and be free to play his offensive game, I don't know how you stop him. I just don't know how they stop him. So I still, like you, I didn't put the future on it, but I did pick Houston to win it. I just don't think Florida or Auburn is complete enough to pull it off.
I do, though. I really, and now I didn't believe in Florida before the tournament. But
Well,
watching them
score.
come in because they've got a cold blooded assassin at point guard, and so
He is amazing.
and
Yeah.
so and really truly, it's crazy because I got more faith in all these teams after the tournament started, like the
Yeah.
regular season, because like even with Florida, as well as they played during the season in the SEC, for some reason I just didn't believe him. I just didn't. And like now,
Yeah.
since the tournament started and been watching them, I have become a believer in Florida. And so they're going to be a
Clayton.
team, yeah, because of Clayton.
Clayton is
He,
amazing.
like I said, he is an assassin.
Yeah, he's got
I
clutch,
mean,
he's got clutch gene.
that three he made in their last game, I mean, he literally just ran back out to the 3-point line, and just shot it like it was like he was playing a game of horse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you have someone like that, you have a chance in any game, and he's been great all season. And Alex Condon, he's great inside for them too. Will Richard kind of drives me crazy watching him play.
Yeah.
Because he can be really good in spurts and can be really not good in spurts. And so he's kind of an X factor for them.
My concern for them is what happens when Clayton doesn't score. Like, because one thing about Duke and Houston, if it comes down to one, it will come down to one of those teams, they can D you up. It's the same thing they did with Chucky Hepburn. When I can lock you down, your best player down, can your other guys step up and make those shots? And right. I don't know if Florida has proven that part of it. Now, selfishly, I'll be rooting for Janai because anyone that can survive Morehead State deserves my respect because I know that as a fact. But I just don't know if Auburn has enough. Auburn can shoot the three. I'll say that. As a scoring squad, yeah.
Offensively, Auburn they can hang with anybody.
Yeah.
And they're deep because like Tahad Pettiford, this dude, and he comes off the bench and he's something else. I really like Tahad Pettiford. Of course, CBM drives everybody crazy. Chad Baker Mazzara. But that kid cracks me up. I love watching that kid play. He's hilarious. He kind of reminds me of Dylan Brooks, and say he's hilarious. But like what Janai Broome has done this season, especially what he's able to do in that Elite Eight game,
crazy.
I mean, because when he went out, I thought he was done, and he probably should have been, but he still came in and knocked down that three.
I think Bruce was just trying to hedge his bet. But because he didn't have to bring him back, I think they had the game pretty solidly in hand. But it
was starting to teeter a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got a little wobbly there for a little bit. I just never thought Michigan State could score enough to catch up.
That's my thought process. I felt like I don't know if Michigan State has the juice to pull this off at this point, but nevertheless, it worked out. This is gonna be a great Final Four. I think. It feels like it's gonna be good. The games are gonna be good. On the women's side, it's gonna be better. You've got 4 teams that are going to go at it. Like Madison Brooks versus Lauren Betts. I'm here for that. That's gonna be great basketball. South Carolina and UConn again. I'm here for that if they make it to the final two. So this is gonna be a great Final Four on both sides. I'm a little less sure on the women's side than I'm on the men's side, but I feel like UConn, South Carolina is inevitable.
Yeah, they're playing the best. And then for my futures, I put a future on Notre Dame early in the season. But before the tournament started, I put a future on UConn. So, in Paige we trust.
Who, by the way, men or women, no one is playing better than Paige Beckers.
No.
dropping 40s and 30s like
100 points in 3 games.
How about the 19-point run she went on in the Sweet 16 by herself?
Mm-hmm.
She said, "All aboard, get on my back. I'll take us to
Yes,
the
I'm gonna
Elite
take
Eight."
you to the promised land. Yeah.
Man, she is killing it right now.
Yeah, she's an assassin. She is an assassin, and she's making people remember that she was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark.
Listen, she in my humble opinion, with all due respect, Caitlin Clark is the better shooter. Paige Beckers is the better player. Like, she's just really, 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 really good. So I'm looking
that class was crazy. Looking back, Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Haley, Cameron Brink, Beckers.
That's a lot of star power right there, bro.
Yes,
it's a lot of star power. So
Miles is in that class
Olivia,
too.
Olivia's in that class, yeah. Man, I don't know. I think UConn, South Carolina is going to be your final game, but Betts played amazing. And here's the thing that I was shocked about, and I didn't know this was in her game until the Elite Eight game. Way more physical than I'd ever seen her be. She is
physical. That's how I've always seen her.
And that's all I've ever said. I'm like, she doesn't have a lot of athleticism, so she's got to bully. She's got to be the bully.
Right, she's gonna be bully ball.
In that Elite Eight game, she was the bully.
Mm-hmm.
She was the bully. So if she could, now I don't know if she could do that against. They play. I forget at all. The final game.
UCLA. I think they play UConn, right?
I think they play UConn. I don't know if she can do that against UConn, but it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. I don't know. I'm very surprised to see.
Yeah, it's UCLA, UConn.
Yeah.
They're the South Carolina, Texas is the 7:00 game tomorrow, and then UCLA, UConn is after that.
I'm still going to go UConn, South Carolina. I just think Paige is not going to let them lose that game.
Yeah, but I can see Texas pulling off the upset.
Oh, listen. The one team that South Carolina did not want to see is Texas, because South Carolina does not have an answer for Madison Booker.
Right.
They don't have an answer for that. So they're going to have to try to run Texas. And Texas' size is a problem. It is a problem for South Carolina. So can they
And this South Carolina team is not as physical as they have been in the past.
They are not. They got to run. South Carolina is going to have, in order to win this game, they're going to have to run, and try to get those bigs tired and beat them in transition. Because if it comes down to a half-court game, I don't know how South Carolina wins that game.
I mean, you're right.
But it's Don. Though.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm betting on South Carolina. It's Don, and Don is maybe, other than Gino, Don may be the smartest women's coach in women's basketball, in all of basketball. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a fun weekend. That's all I know. So that all goes down tomorrow for the women's, on the women's side. On the men's side, starts Saturday. Should be a fun weekend. Okay. Do I have anything else that we want to talk about? Is there anything else we want to discuss? I cannot wait till the draft is here. We need to move this along. I wish the draft was the weekend after the tournament so we could get this over with.
No.
I'm so sick of them talking about what my Giants are going to do. The Giants are finally in a position where they're going to be fine. They cannot mess this pick up. For the first time in a long time, they can't mess this first pick up.
I have faith that they will.
No, you have hope that they will.
I don't know. I don't care. They can go out and knock it out of the park with the pick.
You want
But
them to mess it up,
they're
but
so
they're
far
not.
down that I'm not worried about them for another 3 to 4 years anyway.
They're not as far down as you think they are, sir.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. You want them to be. That's fine.
Dallas is beating the Giants how many times in a row? I'm not worried about them.
And how many quarterbacks have we had in those wins?
Hey, look, your roster construction is not my fault.
That's the point I'm making. So you're bragging about beating a team with no quarterback. That's not a feat.
No. I'm telling you that I'm not bragging. I'm telling you why I'm not worried about them.
You literally just brought it up. We do this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. We do this all the time.
You brought up the Giants.
No, you brought up the wins. Don't even try to change the narrative.
I brought up the wins to tell you I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the Eagles I'm worried about the Eagles in Washington. I ain't worried about y'all.
You will soon be worrying about us as well.
You've been telling me that for how long?
I haven't been telling you that. Not in the Daniel Jones. I couldn't tell you that in the Daniel Jones. Listen, I couldn't tell you that in the Daniel Jones era.
Lloyd, you would talk yourself into Daniel Jones. You would talk yourself into him year in and year out.
As a fan, you have to. You have to give yourself some measure of hope. But I realistically, I know going into every one of those games that we're going to lose them. So it's not a problem. But I think we're headed in the right direction now. So we'll see. I don't think they can mess this pick up. It's either going to be Travis Hunter, which makes sense, or it's probably going to be Shedeur Sanders. They want Shedeur. So we'll see. But anyway, aside from all that, I just wish they would get past it. Real quick, just for the fun of it, because we do another little podcast called Press and Pros, talks NBA. You might like it. Tune in for it. AD played great last night.
Mm-hmm. Good game winner.
Not sure why they're pushing him so hard to do this, but okay.
They're making a playoff push. I mean, that's what they're doing.
Okay. I mean, they are. Technically, that's what they're doing. I don't know why, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
And if you want to drag a guy in his 30s across the finish line to make a playoff push where you get put out in the play-in game, I
think it's a combination of I don't even think it's a combination. I think they're just trying to prove that they were right with the trade about playing him.
Proving it this year. They want to prove it this year.
Yeah.
I'm not
saying that it's the right thing to do. I'm saying that's I think what they're doing.
I'm just saying you want to prove it this year with no Kyrie.
I'm just saying that's what it feels like that they're doing.
Well, all I know
in my opinion, I think you sit them and get a good draft pick. But
all I know is that Nico Harrison is a fine human being. He's a pillar among men.
Man, Nico Harris was a fall guy in that whole situation.
I love Nico Harris. Yeah, he will always be good people.
The person you should love is the current owner of the Mavericks.
And do.
Because you can't convince me that was a Nico call.
I don't believe it either. Okay, so I do have a shout out, collective show shout out. And it is an ACC shout out, although it technically is a Big East shout out. Shout out to the first name released for the Hall of Fame this year, Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
Well deserved, though I do have a question for you. Well deserved, definitely first ballot, but I do have a question for you. What will you remember Carmelo Anthony's NBA career as? That's exactly the reaction I had, by the way.
It's the big what if.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big what if. What if he stays in Denver? I
Mm.
mean, him, J.R. Smith, and AI had a good thing going.
Yeah, good thing going. A Western Conference final, right? At least
Yeah, I
one.
believe so.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big what if. It's like, and he always was with bad organizations. Because, like, at the time, the Knicks were a horrible
Awful.
organization.
They were awful. Shout out to Phil Jackson.
And then, like, at the end of his career, he kind of bounced around and bounced around.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's the big what if with Melo, because he had game. He was when he was a little bit selfish, a little bit of a ball hog, and so they didn't give the other players enough time to shine. But at the same time, I mean, there's plenty of guys like that who've been fine. And so I just what if he ever got that when he was in his prime in New York, if he had ever had that second wheel with him, because they never really developed a second wheel with him in New York.
He chose the money too.
He chose the money.
He chose the money, which is nothing wrong with that. He chose the money.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a thought the other day that was interesting, that Carmelo's career is very similar to Westbrook's career in that they were both stat monsters. Like the numbers that they put up.
There's another stat monster you didn't mention.
Who did I forget?
Sorry, our stat chaser.
Who did I forget?
He plays for your team.
You think LeBron's a stat chaser? I don't
As
think
a
he's stat chaser.
as a fantasy NBA owner who consistently has LeBron on his team every year. Yes.
You play fantasy basketball?
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at it, but yes, I play it every year. I'm in it with a group of friends of mine. We've been doing it for years.
Really? I've never played it. I've always been curious about it.
It's one of those things. It's because like there's a few of the guys in the league who are really. I wonder what else they have to do with their time.
Right.
Because like I set my lineup and then like I'll check it every day to make sure I don't have somebody hurt playing, but that's about it. But these dudes, they go in there, they adding and dropping players to make sure they have somebody have a full roster every night, and I'm like, I ain't got time for all that.
I ain't got time for that. The best part of fantasy football is that I don't have to do it once a week.
Right.
if that, depending on what the matchup is, that. So no, I don't know if I call him a fantasy. I mean, a stat monster. Not in the same way that you would consider, like with Westbrook and Carmelo, it was for sure all about stats.
Yes.
Like I don't know if that's true about LeBron, but I think that's what history's going to say about both of them. Like I don't know what other narrative you would say about Carmelo wanted the money and he got it, and he put up insane numbers for a long time. And ironically, the very thing that he was known for, that for a little bit in the league disappeared, is now back around. Which is crazy, because now every team needs another scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be perfect for today's NBA.
Especially with his mid-range.
Right, but there was a window where that all went away and nobody needed like a ball stopper. You know, like
right.
That's what he was. He was if the ball got into Melo's hands, that was the end of that play. He was going to do something, take a shot or not, and that was the end of that. So it's weird how the cyclical nature of the league kind of drove him out the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm probably
great player regardless. Great player regardless.
Yeah, I'm happy for Melo. Very, very happy for Melo.
He's another one. He's one of those. Him and Westbrook are going to be one of those that if they got one chip, the whole narrative changed.
He had another bad play last night. Jesus, so bad. At the end of the first half of the Spurs game.
Did they end up losing that game? Because I know they were down big.
Yeah, they ended
Why
up
did they lose at home to the
Spurs.
Spurs?
Back-to-back. It's got to be the back-to-back. That's the only thing I think of. The back-to-back.
Yeah. And that game did go into double overtime.
Yeah.
The night before. So.
But it was a bad, man. They threw the ball into him. he turned to dribble down the court, tried to dribble past two guys. They picked him clean, got the layup. I was like, oh, Russ, Russ. Talk about a bad couple of days for a brother.
Yeah.
Just bad. Anyway, so that's a collective shout out to Carmelo. Well deserved. Well deserved. Do you have any other shout outs, my good man?
I've got two.
All right.
One's ACC and one is a high school. We touched on the ACC one. My girl Jada Curry, shout out to her, declaring for the WNBA draft, and shout out to her going off of 41 points, even though ESPN didn't feel the need to even say her name in the game because they were so locked in with their Haley Van Lith narrative.
Right.
She's getting revenge on our old team. Like they didn't part on bad ways. It wasn't like that. And so in their zest to cover it that way, they just don't even mention that the girl on the other team had 41 points and Haley had 16. Haley had 16 and 10. She had a good game, but the other girl had 41 points. So shout out to my girl Jada. And then also shout out to Jeffersonville High School and their head coach, Sharon Wilkerson. The Jeff Red Devils beat an undefeated Fishers team in overtime to win the 4A state championship in Indiana.
Wow.
The last time they won the state championship was in 1993, and their star player was Sharon Wilkerson. So
I remember that team.
Yeah, and so to come back and lead his alma mater to another state championship as the head coach, that's an unbelievable feat. And so shout out to Jeff High School and Sharon Wilkerson.
Talk about a full circle moment. Jeez.
No kidding.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No.
In your career with the state championship. That's not bad. That's not a bad way to do it.
He's still young. That was in '93, so he's the same age as me. So even bigger shout out.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I want to give a shout out to again, and I've kind of been on this tour, and we're planning something here soon to celebrate one of my guys. Noise Media, as a literal company, actually started when Kendrick and I met 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. I don't remember. Years just run together at this point.
Right.
But the new alliteration of who we became actually started in 2020, and started with the planning of these podcasts and some other things that we got going on. And it started with a guy by the name of Shake Anderson. If you hear Popcorn World's theme, if you've heard the Talking Noise theme, if you've heard any of other than the latest alliterations of our music, it started with those that guy helping to shape the sound and the look and the feel of our company. And he has since gone on to be with the Lord. And we took last week off to send our brother off with the love and to be with his family, and appreciate the support that everybody's getting. All the noisemakers have been amazing behind the scenes, inboxing me, sending me condolences and stuff like that. So it's been very, very cool. So the shout out is to the noisemakers for just supporting all of what we've tried to establish in love and relationship here with our family, little family here. And it's growing and becoming bigger and better every single day. But just want to send some love to our guy as he safely travels on his next journey into the clouds in the sky, the big man upstairs, God. He's going to be with the Lord. So I want to give a shout out to that. So yeah, that's my only shout out for today. I want to also get excited about this weekend. So guys, find you a TV, put your feet up, get you a steak or some ribs or something, and just get ready. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I can't stress that enough.
Gonna be a lot of rain here.
Ready to go, huh?
Gonna be a lot of rain.
That's another reason to get ready because it's gonna be raining the weekend.
I
You're not
know.
gonna be able to get out and do anything.
I know. Only thing is, it's going to hamper the grill.
Not my grill.
Actually, I can still use my grill in the rain too.
I'm
Ain't the
just
grill.
saying.
No, the grill ain't the problem. It's
What's
the
wrong?
griller. If it's raining too much, I ain't going out there.
I see what you're saying.
That's the only thing that'll keep me from grilling is the rain.
I see what you're saying. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to it this weekend and just sit back and enjoying everything. It should be a lot of fun. But there it is, people. We've given you all we can give you. Shout out again to our brother Charlie Ward. I think he'll be back with us next week. We'll see how it goes. But until
Real
then,
quick, shout out to Sportstown shirt I have on my buddy Dan Koob that used to work for the competition here in town. I mean, I call him my nephew. Hey, he's producing a TV show. They're going around to different towns, giving you a tour of what to do in these different sports towns, what to do before the game, after the game. If you can't go to the game, where to go watch the game at in that town. It's a really cool show. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Sports Town. The first episode they did in Lexington at a Kentucky game. They shot it last year, the last season of Calipari, which was interesting. Yeah. And so shout out to Dan.
Smart concept for a show.
Yeah. So shout out to Dan Koob and Sports Town. You can find it on YouTube.
Awesome. Sports Town. I like it. Look at you helping small businesses.
Yeah, you know, I'm a man of the people.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, people, enjoy your weekend. Have fun. This is, what is this? Believe in the ACC. It looks oddly like Preston Prose.
It's just so similar.
It's so similar.
Can't quite put my finger on it.
The only difference is the theme song.